We use mathematics to describe things everywhere in science. Similarly to the universe, we associate numbers with certain constants that allow the universe to function and also allows it to support life. These constants are such as the force of gravity, speed of light, how fast the universe is expanding, the forces that hold protons and neutrons together, which are called strong and weak nuclear forces, the level of entropy in which the universe is at, electromagnetism, etc. Now, if the universe was created by chance, you'd assume that the constants needed that are essential for the universe to be able to procure life, you would assume that maybe these variables could have some leeway, some give and take. There's like a ballpark range of like what gravity could be to support life. And when you start actually looking into the evidence, you find out that the opposite is true. In Stephen Hawking's book, Brief History in Time, he states that the fine-tuning of each of these, what he claims to be 40 elements that are needed for the universe to support life, could be taken as evidence for a creator. Let me give you some examples of the fine-tuning argument. So if you tweak the speed of light up just a tad, by a factor of 1 even, you get a universe now that's too hot or too bright and everything gets sterilized. It's just, life is impossible. If you tweak it down just a tad, like let's say the speed of light is just slightly slower than what it is right now, you get a universe now that's too cold and too dim to support life. Same thing with gravity. If you make gravity slightly stronger than what it is right now, then the universe expands and then it crunches in on itself, unable to be supportive for a long withstanding of time. And then if you tweak gravity down a tad, so it's less strong, the universe expands too rapidly, and so planets and stars can't form, and thus you have no model for the existence of life. Roger Penrose figured out mathematically that our universe began in a state of extremely low entropy. And it was very necessary for our universe to start at a state of low entropy. He also explains that that doesn't have anything to do with energy, because you could have a universe that starts in high entropy and have the same energy as a universe that starts with low entropy, but it would not have been able to support life unless it started at such low entropy. And Roger Penrose, which we talked about him in the last video, he figured out mathematically that out of 10 to the 10 to the 123rd possibilities of a universe starting with as low of an entropy as ours did, there's only one possibility that exists out of all those possibilities to have an entropy that low to support a universe. This probability is just way, way too low to support a universe happening by chance. I mean, think about it. 1 out of 10 to the 10 to the 123rd. I mean, this is, a number's big when you have to put exponents on top of exponents. I mean, like, that is an insane number. Now, to avoid the obvious conclusion that there is a creator of some kind that created the universe, scientists are now trying to prove a multiverse theory. You've probably heard of the multiverse if you watch Marvel, but in reality, this is an actual theory, and that is there is an infinite number of multiverses. The logic follows is that one of them is bound to have these exact parameters for life, and you truly would need an infinite amount of universes to get one that is perfectly fit for life to exist. Because think about it, the whole entropy thing, 1 out of 10 to the 10 to the 123rd chance, that wasn't a probability of a universe being able to support life. That was a probability of a universe having the correct entropy starting point to create life. That has nothing to do with the chances of what gravity could have been, what speed of light could be, what the nuclear forces could have been. That only is one element out of 40 that needs to be right for a universe to be able to support life. But why does the multiverse theory not work? Because you're kind of kicking the can down the road, as Dr. Bergsma says, because all these multiverses are also going to need a creator, because they're all going to start from somewhere. If you're going to create a universe and they're like, oh, this universe isn't working, we're going to have to create a new one from, that's better than the previous one. First off, you need a universe generator. That A is generating these universes. B, this generator has to be semi-intelligent, because if not, you could just be creating the same universe over and over with the same flaws. You have to have a generator that's either learning how to create a universe that can sustain life, and you also need to have a reason that the generator is being programmed to find a universe suitable for life. And so you have this generator that's not just pumping out universes and tweaking the different gravitational forces and the speed of light, etc., in order to find a universe that can support life, but you also need a generator that is pumping out these universes, these multiverses, at a certain rate where they don't run into each other, where they don't destroy each other, where they don't consume each other. So, and also, I mean, that's pretty much just extra steps for showing that there's still a creator in the multiverse scenario. It's just now you're sort of weirdly leaving up to the creator can learn and is just trying to find a way to create life through making universes versus just there is a God and the God is intelligent and big and is outside time, space, energy, and he just is all wise, all knowing, and created a universe knowing exactly the parameters needed to have that within the constructs of space, time, and energy. So either that or you have this multiverse theory, which it's just like, I mean, it's the biggest violation of Occam's razor, which is that most of the time, just the simplistic answer, the most obvious answer, is probably going to be the one that's true. And if you're trying to make another answer, I mean, the multiverse theory, it's so convoluted, it's so in depth, and it's not in depth, it's just so extra. It's I wouldn't even call it in depth because that makes it sound intellectual. It's grasping at straws to avoid a reality of God. In reality, the multiverse still needs some sort of creator, so you haven't really solved that problem in the first place. Believing in a universe that supports life by complete chance is like being charged with desertion in the army and then being placed in front of 5,000, I mean, it's really not 5,000, it's really more like 50,000, like 500,000 trained marksmen for you to be killed as per capital punishment. And then every single marksman misses. Like, if that happened, like 500,000 trained marksmen pointing their guns at you and all of them miss, you wouldn't logically conclude that all of them were aiming at you and just missed somehow. It was just luck. It was just chance. But that you would assume that there'd have to be some type of conspiracy, that there'd have to be some type of outside factor, perhaps maybe a bribery, or maybe a secret order to keep you alive, or maybe these were all people in disguise or something. They were like, maybe I don't know. But you'd have to assume that this wasn't chance. You'd have to start logically thinking of an actual plausible answer of why all 500,000 of these trained marksmen missed when they shot at you. You wouldn't hold that scenario up to chance, and neither should you with the universe supporting life. So now what? Well, if you've been following along and you've been revisiting these scientific facts, you watched my previous video where we talk about Big Bang cosmology, and you're going back and you're thinking about like what you've learned in grade school, I'd once again continue to encourage you to look into these topics. I mean, another good book I'd suggest reading is by Anthony Flew. It's titled "There Is No God, but the No is crossed out and it's replaced by an A, so it's There Is a God." That's the actual title, but it's about one of the world's leading atheists, which was Anthony Flew, who despised religion, despised the idea of a God, Christianity, but he became a believer in God based upon the scientific evidence surrounding the fine-tuning argument. He just couldn't resist anymore from his atheistic perspective that this fine-tuning argument, that this could all just happen by chance. It just doesn't make any sense. And that's what you should think about. So stay tuned for part 3 as we tackle the origins of life. See you then.